It started when HOA Karen, never one to respect boundaries or common sense, decided to escalate her harassment in an audacious new way. She reported my children as unsupervised, claiming that I was neglectful and that her intervention was necessary. She expected fear, chaos, and compliance. What she did not realize was that the babysitter on duty at the time was an off-duty FBI agent, trained, strategic, and fully capable of handling any confrontation. Karen's attempt to intimidate and manipulate had inadvertently triggered her worst-case scenario. From the moment the call was placed, the situation was under complete control. The babysitter immediately secured my children, ensured their safety, and began documenting every aspect of Karen's audacious claim. Video surveillance captured Karen approaching the property, her interactions with staff, and her repeated attempts to assert authority. Audio recordings preserved every word, including her false claims and her increasingly frustrated tone as her manipulation began to falter. Every detail of the incident was meticulously logged, leaving no room for misrepresentation or deception. When law enforcement arrived in response to her report, Karen expected compliance or chaos. Instead, they were met with calm, authoritative control. The off-duty FBI agent babysitter presented credentials, explained the safety protocols in place, and outlined the falsity of Karen's claims. Video evidence of the children, supervised and safe, corroborated every detail. Karen's narrative crumbled under scrutiny, exposing her audacity as reckless and unfounded. Karen, realizing her attempt to manipulate law enforcement had failed, tried to escalate further. She called neighbors, attempted to pressure the HOA board, and threatened legal action. But every claim she made was systematically dismantled. The babysitter, leveraging both training and authority, documented every interaction, creating a comprehensive record of Karen's audacity, harassment, and reckless interference. Her credibility within the community was instantly undermined, leaving her isolated and powerless. In response to the incident, additional measures were implemented to prevent any future harassment. Security systems were upgraded, access points reinforced, and legal notices sent to Karen and the HOA, explicitly outlining the consequences of any further attempts to interfere with the property or family. Karen's ability to intimidate, manipulate, or assert false authority had been permanently neutralized. Her audacity, intended to control and dominate, had backfired spectacularly. Neighbors and community members quickly became aware of the event. Karen's pattern of overreach, harassment, and entitlement was publicly exposed. Observers saw firsthand the consequences of attempting to intimidate or manipulate when faced with preparedness, authority, and strategic foresight. Her repeated attempts to assert control had failed entirely, leaving her credibility in tatters and her influence nullified. In the following days, the ranch returned to calm. The children continued their activities safely, the property remained fully secure, and Karen's audacious attempts at harassment were permanently curtailed. The incident became a lesson in the community. Entitlement and audacity meet consequences when confronted with preparation, authority, and strategic response. Karen had assumed fear and compliance would follow her actions, but instead, she discovered that audacity without knowledge or strategic positioning leads only to exposure and humiliation. By the end of the week, the ranch was serene and fully under control. Karen's repeated harassment had been decisively neutralized, her credibility destroyed, and her audacity rendered powerless. The babysitter, trained and prepared, had ensured both safety and accountability, transforming Karen's reckless interference into a public example of the consequences of entitlement unchecked. The ranch, secure and calm, stood as a monument to foresight, preparation, and lawful authority. Karen's audacity, which she had relied upon for years to intimidate and manipulate, had met its match. Every observer understood the lesson. Attempts to assert control without preparation, authority, or strategic foresight are always self-defeating. Karen had been exposed, powerless, and publicly humiliated, ensuring that no future overreach could occur without immediate consequences.